you're hitting, or I'm gonna go with that later.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream scene. Our very first episode of 2020. It is great to be back with you guys for another awesome season of great discussions to be had. I am, of course, joined by my wonderful co-host, the Hunter Wild. What's up, Hunter? How you doing?
Hi, friends.
How you feeling?
Oh, I am good. I hope I'm sounding fantastic on my new mixer, which I used a very helpful StreamerSquare guide. The good old plug.
Can we get a link in the chat?
Do you have a link for that?
Yeah.
I'm sure our mods are gonna link it up.
I'm sure our mods will link it up.
And despite one little flub at the very beginning of our pre-show, which you can find on our Patreon, plug number 2. What is it? I'm just nailing
Yeah,
it.
Wow,
damn.
you
Like,
are-
okay.
that's very
Getting
smooth.
paid the big bucks. Here we go.
It is otherwise going really fantastically. I'm sure nobody would expect this. I'm incredibly excited for today's show. We're trying to do our best to cover the breadth of the state of Twitch with a little bit of extra industry talk today, with 2 incredible, fantastic, and brilliant and well-respected individuals.
I'm in the
on
wrong place.
platform.
Huh?
Friends
I'm
of
sorry.
ours. Oh no!
Is
Wait.
there somebody coming out after
Great
us?
show.
Yeah, I know.
Well, your brand new business
right?
is after this at 6:30, so might be
Oh, that
that.
is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who the special guest is.
That's a third plug. We're
Yeah.
getting good at this, Hunter. Did
Yeah.
we practice this?
So,
Don't burn out now.
oh god, that's so close.
Wow.
So, thank you both for joining us today. If you wouldn't mind,
Absolutely.
letting us know who you are and yeah, what you're doing here, what your chops are, how long you've been around, why some people might not be familiar with you, should pay attention to what it is you have to say. Avalonstar, we'll start with you.
Sure. Hi, I'm Brian. You can call me Avalonstar. I am a full-time streamer, former Twitch employee. I worked as a UI designer there since from 2014 to 2016, then went to full-time streaming because I loved it so much. I have a lot of opinions on Twitch, mainly because I worked inside, and then, you know, from the outside, I still have a lot to say. So I've been looking forward to this. When Loco put out the, hey, who wants to talk about Twitch? I'm like, me. So yeah, I streaming wise, I'm mainly an MMO guy. I like Destiny and FF14 and really into Mon Hun. So chill place.
All right, Dizzy.
Hi, I'm Dizzy. DizzyDizaster. I've been streaming since summer of 2013. I started out as a Terraria streamer, and I'm still doing Terraria. Don't Starve. Too Much Path of Exile. Main focus on my channel now is community interaction and community inclusion, regardless of where you're from, what language you speak, things of that nature. As a result, I have a very, very, very large presence in Russia, of all places, which happened as a result of a raid. And now, as of last month, the person who raided me in 2015 actually came to America after 3 years of trying to get his visa. He came to New York. We hung out. Some of the biggest and coolest streams I've ever had in my life was walking around Brighton Beach in New York City, speaking Russian to people who are speaking Russian. Not a single person spoke English in that entire area of Brooklyn. It was very cool, and I'm a very big advocate for Twitch being a place in the world where you can bring, I guess it's not just gaming anymore, but that was my phrase to begin with, is how gaming can connect the world in such a really unique way. And yeah, that's a big part of what I stand for, is looking for many different ways to include everybody and everything that we do.
And a good job you do of it.
Woo, thank you.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we have a really interesting show for you guys today. Our State of Twitch episodes. We try to do a few times a year to kind of touch base with you guys, the platform, and just trying to get a little bit of perspective about what's happening, you know, with Twitch. So we have things to talk about, like new features, growth and discoverability. We'll get into that. We'll also talk a little bit about like issues that streamers are facing regularly on the platform, so that we can kind of give each other a better idea of, you know, where Twitch is and what they can do to improve. So I guess
that's how you get discovered, right there. Just climb in front of a camera.
So I guess like we can start off by talking about the hype trains, because that's something that we literally just had on the channel right now. Have you guys had a chance to use the hype trains?
Not yet.
It's
Oh, really?
happened once.
Nope.
On my
Okay.
end, but I've seen it happen on a lot of other channels. Yeah.
Yeah, so it just went live. For those who don't know what the hype train thing is, it's basically something that is currently, I think, just for partners, but is rolling out to affiliates. Supposed to be this month. I'm not sure.
Is it this month?
Yeah, I'm not sure if maybe if anyone is in chat can correct me. Affiliates don't have that yet. Do they?
Oh, I think it was both. Yeah. I
Okay.
think
Did they?
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't know.
Okay. So basically, yeah. With the hype train, you can set up. Basically, it's kind of like how sub trains work, like as a natural thing on Twitch. Like most streamers have like a little sub train counter. Someone subs, you have a 5-minute countdown. Someone resubs. You kind of already have this anyways. So Twitch has basically taken something that is a part of streaming culture and integrated it with their platform. So
Yeah.
Subbing, gifting subs, cheering, all basically contribute to the hype train or start the hype train based on your settings. You can,
Yeah, with modifiable factors that you can control, some that you can control as the
Right.
content creator, as the streamer.
yeah. And then there's different levels. There's emotes for rewards for people that participate. So yeah, it's basically a Twitch integrated version of something that naturally happens on channels anyways.
But that was otherwise difficult to implement for a lot of people. Finding like a bot that would do that, or
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's
using
native
a web
implementation
platform.
Yeah.
is huge. It's one less thing you need to maintain. With I got 5 monitors full of stuff I need to maintain. One less thing I need to deal
I've
with.
got enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, so I've been using it. I think it came out like last week or the week before that. I like it. I think it's fun. Like again, it's something that already happens, and I think if you set it up correctly, it should be something that feels not very common. Like you don't want it to just like set off because one person resub. Not that you can. I think it's like 3 is like the lowest you can do, like 3 interactions, and then there's a minimum 1 hour cooldown, but you can increase that if you want. So you basically,
Do you have to manually turn it on?
no, it basically, once you set it up, you, based on the number of like things that happen within 5 minutes, it starts the hype train.
Mine was
So-
natively on. Like it just.
The feature
didn't even
itself, I
know it
think
was-
by default,
yeah.
I think there's some settings.
I'll have to look at it after.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can adjust it to base like how your channel normally flows. Like if you're a big stream, you probably want to make it a little bit harder for that to go off. Like, because if you have it on every hour, it's gonna get old. Like, I think it was really fun the first few days. Like people wanted it every hour. They were counting down until the next time they could start a hype train, and that was a lot of fun. But I think
That's
now
cool.
that it's settled in a little bit, people don't want to see that go off every time because it doesn't feel special anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
I think Twitch did a pretty good job of like saying that off the get-go. It's like they in their guide, I believe, or at least in
Yeah.
their blog post, like these things need to be special, and they said those exact same things. So it's not like something that people have been discovering just by using it. It's like Twitch kind of warned everybody that, hey, make these special, don't do these every hour. Like we want you to make sure you get the most out of these.
Right.
Etc. So I mean, it was nice on them to be able to explain the feature beyond just like what it does, like how
It felt like they
use it.
researched it.
Right.
It did, yeah, it
Yeah.
did.
Cool.
And I think something that immediately came to mind for me, because I'm always thinking of these kinds of things, regardless of my implementation, is that you're not simply restricted to what Twitch has given you with a hype train, right? So they have a fixed number of features, fixed number of things that are modifiable, and a certain way, a technological affordance, a certain way that it can be used. But you, as a content creator, there is a much larger set of possibilities that haven't been actualized, right? You can create your own personal values that you want to add on to the hype train, right? If we get to level 5 in a hype train, you can even have it in a command or whatever. Get to level 5 in a hype train, put on a onesie, eat some hot stuff. These are my defaults, right? It could be any number of things. We get a certain number of hype trains within a day. I'll play that game I hate, but you love watching me play, or whatever. So there's a lot of the implementation on the side of the platform is great. We still have freedom on our side as content creators to get creative with it,
Right.
which I like.
Right. Anything to help grow the channel.
Sure.
And not just grow the channel for the sake of, oh, I need money to keep going. not to play into today's stuff, but from perspective of, you know, like I said earlier, everybody here is spending their time to support you. Every time they come in your channel, they're spending time in your channel. They're not spending time with their family. They're not spending time working on their own stuff. They're basically spending time with you. So that is in and of itself a great thing for them to be doing. But, you know, time doesn't necessarily result in you being able to eat food or pay your rent or anything else. So there has to be that extra level for people who can do that for you. So for you to be able to do an extra incentive to encourage them to do so, give something more back for them for their money, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's the best possible thing, actually.
I do like that there's a reward too. Like if you participate at all in a hype train, you get an emote out of it. I think there's like 30 different emotes based on the difficulty.
30?
Yeah, based on the difficulty
Whoa.
and the level that you get to, the max level, because there's 5 total levels in the hype train. So I do like that too. It's and Twitch apparently is going to be refreshing those emotes every so often. I'm not sure when, but so yeah, so it's like something to collect.
good.
Like I think one thing
And you
about
keep the
gamers
emotes,
is we
right?
love to collect things. I think you keep like the most popular set or something. You don't keep every single one.
Okay.
Yeah, so they'll refresh every so often, and then you keep like the most popular ones, I think.
That's cool. People like to collect.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's super smart, and again, it goes right into what you're talking about, giving the viewers something out of the feature. Like, I mean,
Right.
they're probably like most people like to support, just support, but it's nice to get something back, you know.
What do you think, Avalonstar?
Can I have permission to take a club to the knee for this conversation? I've had this thought for a while, and I've given it a lot of thought. And it's not just hype trains; it's also the cheer things, that the mega cheer stuff. I
Mega
think.
Oh
cheer.
yeah, okay.
The mega cheer,
For
yeah,
the emotes?
for the
Okay.
emotes, right? I completely see how helpful it is and how nice it is to be able to collect emotes, right? But I think the unpopular opinion, and first time I'm saying this because I haven't fully thought it out or until recently,
Do
I
it
think
first.
Twitch is
Exclusive.
undercutting one of the best parts of their platform by providing emotes themselves. Example.
I don't think that's unpopular. I think a lot of people
You think
feel
it's
that way.
popular? I haven't seen
It's
it.
gonna become popular now. that we've
Can you
heard it.
elaborate?
I haven't. So example, the ayaya emote, right? Everybody has one. It took a lot for my community to pull that out of me, because I'm like, oh, things like that, whatever. I've been a lot more open to doing meme emotes to be able to encourage my community to, feel ownership around them. But it's like everybody has those. I mean, unless you're like Admiral Baru or another really big popular emote based streamer, you're trying to sell your emotes based off that one. And right, Adorkable right there, that last Ayaya was given to people by Twitch. So if you happen to be in a chat that got the mega cheer, you have an Ayaya emote. You don't need to pay anybody for one anymore. Because unless you specifically see a face that you want, if like that one's not anime enough, or you want an animal doing an Ayaya. If you just want the Ayaya emote and you didn't want to pay a thing, all of a sudden you now have it. So then one of the reasons that, I would be like, hey, you get this great Ayaya emote. Wait, you already have one. You got it for free. You have it for free. And the same thing kind of happened with the cheer emotes that came out, like the cheer tier emotes.
Mm-hmm.
It was like people are like, oh, you're gonna jump into that, right? They're like, oh, bring this emote back, bring this emote back, bring this one back. I'm like, I don't want to do that, because all you have to do is pay me $25 to get to the tier 2, and you have that emote forever. You could go away, come back in 10 years, and you still have that emote. Whereas people are also, paying me $5 for the subscription thing. I feel like it's cannibalization in a way. And it's great that people are able to grow their bin of emotes, but it also makes it less likely for people that have good ideas to be able to have that value proposition of like, hey, $5, you get these emotes.
Yeah, but
wait, Twitch already has them.
What
Like,
if you
Twitch already
evolve your
has
emotes? In other words, what if you're changing your emotes and say, this is the ones that you get early for donating bits, and eventually they're going to be sub emotes, but you can have them early if you do this, and just kind of flow them in that way.
There are different ways to go around it. I agree.
Right.
And like some of the ways that I looked about, like maybe the Twitch, the bit tier emotes, is to have like emotes that are complementary to the main set, that don't replace the main set, but it would be nice to have. So like, I know, popcorn or a little word bubble or something like that. But it's just this I don't know, it's this feeling of like you're trying to help us, Twitch is trying to help us make this viable.
Right.
This is like, just make more money, just make this viable. And it seems like it's been harder to sell our main product, which is emotes, subscriptions, emotes, the whole like value proposition of being able to, like, I want to support you, I get something back.
Well,
granted,
but
it's like
bits does support you though too. Like in fact, you get 100% of the bits that you get. So by getting an emote from that, like that person may not, like, there are people that never sub to me, but they'll drop bits, and like they're not dropping it for the emotes, but they're just getting something out of it now. And
Yeah,
like it's also like a forward investment.
And I see it. Yeah, and I see it both ways, because like my channel, for instance, is a very sub heavy channel, and I don't like, I rarely, if ever, get cheers, because I don't position myself for that. It's like I want to be able to have that number, and you know, like I care more about the subs. I care more about people having my emotes, because I've now positioned myself in having an original character. Her face is on those emotes, and like I want you to be able to like love these as much as people love pandas, you know. And so I'm approaching emotes in a different way than I did last year or the year before. But it made me realize how there's a chance that if you're putting an emote out, that Twitch all of a sudden can possibly give that emote type out for free.
But it's not for free though. That's the thing. The RPG emotes you have to earn by. That's from people subbing, gifting subs, cheering. Like
other people are doing it though. So people are like, hey, I want, like, the mega cheers are like, I want this person, or I want everybody to get these emotes. So people will just kind of
right, but you're still getting money from that. Like you're still benefiting from that. It's still monetization. It's just Twitch is doing the work for you.
That's if it's happening if it's happening in your channel.
Yeah.
But if you hang out in a larger channel where a lot of the, you know, where the hype trains, where that it's the benefit, I see the benefit, and I completely agree that the benefit's there. Don't get me wrong. It's just it doesn't make things predictable. And I think that the big first one was like Twitch Prime. Twitch Prime comes out, yeah, you can sub with Twitch Prime. It made sub numbers completely unpredictable at that point, because you couldn't.
Very true.
It's a very unpredictable landscape. Whereas being able to opt in via subbing way back when was very predictable. You knew exactly who was paying you exactly when.
You kind of hit on something inadvertently there by saying you went into a bigger channel, and as a result, you got those emotes, right?
Yeah.
Because they had a hype train or a sub train or whatever going on there. At the end of the day, the fact that it is giving an additional benefit from that, where people will go and support those bigger channels, is maybe another way of Twitch saying, you know, we want to do something for our big channels too. We want to help them out as well. So, you know, we all understand how this works in the entertainment industry. There's big people who are making a lot of money for Twitch, and they need some benefit out of these features as well. And if they're not getting any benefit out of a feature, it likely doesn't become a feature on the website.
I mean, the RPG stuff helps like mid-level streamers too, though. Like, like in a big way, because like, yeah, you go to a 10,000 viewer channel, the chances of you actually getting one of those, like, there's a cap on like how big, like, someone cheers like 100,000 bits. There's definitely a cap of like how many people are getting stuff. Like, you go to a smaller channel, you're way more likely to get something if it's popping off. Like, it really just depends on the nature of your channel. I don't think it undercuts. I don't know. I mean, it depends on, like, again, like Avalon, you're saying you rely a lot on subs. Like, I feel like for me, I don't typically get a lot of subs. I get more support via cheering. So like getting a benefit, like getting an emote from cheering is just kind of like a passive thing. It's like okay, yeah, you can cheer 1,000 bits. You're probably just doing that to support the stream. If you're a mid-level streamer, people just do it to support you. They don't really do it for the benefit. But I mean, I do see the issue with constantly doing these like mega cheer things and these emotes where it gets to the point where there are just so many emotes that it just is saturated. Like, they're just like, there are emotes you don't even know you have and you'll never use.
I
mean,
I
are
think
we
we've crossed
like,
that threshold.
I do think it's, yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty close if it's not there yet.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a possibility that like my business plan was too late. Like I should have done this years ago. Like, I mean, there's
Yeah.
definite possibility there. I'm willing to admit fault, but
I think we
I'm
all
already,
have
I'm
that.
already in there. Yeah. So
Well,
right.
I mean, I think
But at the
also,
same time, it's like if I have an emote and I'm going to use that, I look at a lot of people who say aren't subbed, and I'm like, okay, well, people will say in my chat, oh, they use this because they like the emotes and they sub, even though they don't watch that person. There
Yeah.
are streamers out there who are mainly subbed for their emotes.
yeah,
So that,
I mean, that's
that business model
fair.
exists. But so those are the people that are, I guess, affected, and that's since I've been trying to position myself in that way. It sort of revealed itself to me, but I'm not, I'm obviously not saying that, like, that's why I think it was unpopular, because there's so many positive things that come out of it. Like you were saying, Loco,
Yeah.
how could you have that? Which is why I never dared say it on Twitter, because I couldn't defend myself that way.
Good luck.
And now
Right.
you're here.
I would
facing us.
but I would much rather do it this way though, because we can actually have a discussion.
Yeah, don't say anything on Twitter. Just say, hey, I'm on live. That's it.
That's
The day is sunny.
that was sort of the thing I had behind that. So like hype trains you have that collection. So like if you have all 30 emotes for a hype train, unless you have that extra wanting to support that streamer, which is what we would all assume people have, but not necessarily, because people like collecting stuff.
Right. I just don't know how many people do sub just for emotes. And even so, to your point, if you have all the emote slots, $5 for 50, 60 emotes, it's still a pretty good deal. If you like the style, you're still getting a really, really good deal.
That's value.
That's exactly one of the reasons I positioned it that way, because it's like, hey, instead of you get 60 for this, but will that work? I don't know. I guess we'll talk in a year.
Divide it by months too. Like, how often do you get subs that go for a year? Like, a $100 emote is almost 2 years worth of subs right there. So, and you get all of that, not 50%. So in a lot of ways, it's almost, it's over 3 years worth of subs that you're getting in one shot from bits just for one emote. So,
yeah, I mean, that was something that I would say
that's
too.
Good math.
I think it's one of the, I mean, I wanted to bring it up here because there are so many different dynamics, especially in the chat. Like you have all these different types of, these different types of viewers, different types of streamers that view these things differently. And I wanted to be able to extract that kind of conversation rather than like, no, you're trash, Twitter, blah.
Well, no, I can give you a kind of a weird perspective on this too. Like, this is something that you might not even consider. So the average viewer in my channel isn't a sub, and there's a reason behind that. It's because my average viewer is from a country where subbing is a lot more expensive. To be fair, it's about 20 times more expensive to sub to somebody on Twitch in Russia than it would be in America. So for them to take a percentage of their monthly income and to give it to me as if they are a tier 3 off the bat is huge. So a lot of them will regularly show up on a channel because free emotes are like, wow, they're worth so much more to do that. So when they see, the big people come in there and they sub, they're like, oh my God, and they'll support you. You'll get more viewers as a result. So in that perspective, I see when somebody can sub, one of my American or European, subscribers is able to do something nice like gift subs, and they're very, very generous especially to the Russians there. Well, they'll gift subs and do everything that way because they understand it. For them to be able to have that, or them to be able to say, man, I got to take part of my monthly income. And I'm not saying that Americans aren't subject to that too. They are as well, but more so over there. But be able to, purchase that sub for somebody, to be able to gift that, to be able to have a hype train. And a lot of people get that sort of stuff. It actually is a bigger thing for the channel because you get those viewers as a result. People will show up, So there's a lot of different facets to it. I mean, at the end of the day, once again, we need to make money to be able to sustain this. And I tell my viewers that, and I'm sure you all tell them at some point, you would love to be able to do this for free, but none of us are independently wealthy here. So we can't do this for free. So we need to have some sort of justification to be able to spend 4, 6, 10 hours a day to be able to do this. For me, I go to a job after this, or before this rather. I work, I come home, I stream. I work, I come home, I stream. So I'm able to take a lot of the edge off, but still I need to make some sort of income to be able to make this work. If I have no subs or bits today, this is done. I can't do it anymore. So if you have one person in your channel that's able to foot the bill for 50 others, and those 50 others are going to hang out as a result of maybe getting a sub here, or maybe getting this there, or being part of a hype train, or being able to sub once, or even donate once and be able to get something and have a permanent part of it. Like, we had a big debate in my channel, my mod channel, about taking one emote that I have called "Oh Privyet." "Oh Privyet" means hi. "Oh hi" in Russian. And it's a big thing. It went crazy. As a result, there's some memes for that. You'll see some in chat, I'm sure, as a result of me saying that. But we debated whether or not we wanted to keep "Oh Privyet" as a sub emote versus a bit emote. And my justification was, I want "Oh Privyet" to be a $5 emote that somebody can buy and they can be able to use it in my channel, because everybody says that when they come in my channel, because that's what I'm known for in Russia. We ended up keeping it as a subscriber emote. Just, I don't remember what the basis was, but it seemed like it made a lot more sense, especially since bits, the way that they cost and the cost to do stuff internationally, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I digress. The whole point is, there's ways to position this to make this a more important value to your channel. Have certain emotes that you want people to have as be a part of your ingrained community for non-subs and subs alike, and they can kind of join for that $5 entry fee and pay no more. Consider it like, do you ever play TF2? Where TF2, if you did one microtransaction, you got access to everything. But if you didn't, it was free to play. Path of Exile is kind of like that too. Buy stash tabs in Path of Exile, and then you never have to buy anything else.
PoE whale.
Oh, me too.
Huge PoE whale.
No, me too. My character is literally on fire at all times. I love it. Yeah, but
that is related to what you're talking about, right? That a similar kind of free-to-play model for certain types of games.
Right.
I think
You
Warframe
purchase
and Path of
once and you're
Exile are
in,
some of
and you
those.
can have like that emote that I'm now a part of the
Having bigger
community,
supporters.
and I don't have to
pay
be,
anything.
basically it's a stipend for some people to be able to pay you every month, and it's like, I can't justify necessarily doing that to some of my viewers. So if I can give them something for $5, maybe I'll do that.
Well, now, speaking of the free to and with some of the pay models and the ways that revenue streams happen for some streamers, what is the ad situation?
Yes. Okay. So
What
this is
our ad
interesting.
situation now, because we've had some advancements and then some questionable qualities.
So, to give the TLDR on the current ad situation on Twitch, reporting in here live on the stream scene.
Coming at you live.
So basically,
Loco.
this situation is so going back to a few months ago, I made a tweet about complaining about pre-rolls, and it definitely followed. There was a lot of people that started to get into the conversation where I feel like pre-rolls are detrimental to discoverability on Twitch.
Yeah.
I think they're just they're just not great. And I get that Twitch needs to make their money, but I just feel like they could be better. So Twitch rolled out a feature, a few weeks later. Not saying it was from my tweet, but I'm just saying, like, in the timeline of things, Twitch made.
Loco's got some power.
I did. I called up my boy Bezos and was like, okay.
Do it. Listen up here, Jeff. I got something to tell you, and it's not good. I can't keep calling you like this.
So basically, Twitch made an offer that, okay, you don't want pre-rolls. You have an option to get rid of pre-rolls by running mid-roll ads. So you choose to run mid-roll ads. I believe the ratio is you run a 30-second ad every 10 minutes to get rid of pre-rolls for that amount of time.
And it can stack up to an hour?
Up to an hour.
Yeah.
So you can run 3 minutes of ads, an hour to have an hour of pre-rolls.
For those of you who are terrible at math, the ratio sucks.
I am bad at math, but even I knew
It does. It's a lot. That's a lot. Like 3 minutes of ad an hour is kind of, it feels a lot.
I mean, that's why like sitcoms are like 22 minutes, right? Because the other 8 are ads.
Right, but like things are changing. People don't like ads anymore. I mean, you have things like Netflix, HBO Go, all these online sites that like there's no ads. People binge watch. People watch hours of content without watching ads. I mean, even YouTube.
They're also subbed.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
But I mean, YouTube, for example, they have pre-rolls, but they're 5-second skippables. There's banner ad overlays, stuff like that. So pre-rolls exist on YouTube, but they're far less annoying. They're not 30-second ads, the same small ad pool every single time. Like usually the ads are actually hyper relevant to whatever's being played. I think that the problem is the ratio with that feature. You're basically not annoying new people coming to your channel for an hour in exchange for annoying everyone in your channel every hour for 3 minutes at a time.
It's if you time it right and you get up and you walk around and use it as an opportunity to make your health better and all that stuff. But here's the thing that really gets you, and I don't know if a lot of people understand this. If somebody from America views your ad, you get a certain amount of cash. If somebody from another country views your ad, you get a different amount of cash. And the more east you get, the less money you get. So for somebody like me, it makes 0 sense to do that. And I tested it out. I did pre-roll
0 cents. That was a good one.
I made 2 cents over 4 hours by doing that.
Wow.
100 concurrent.
In that copper.
Yeah, 100 concurrent people that night. I did a test run.
Wow.
2 cents I made. So I don't run ads. I never click them. There is no reason for me to do that.
Right? So the ads are still playing for people, but the revenue that you're getting is...
It's actually more, believe it or not, when they get them as they roll in. I think it was like 4 cents. Like I'm not a huge streamer, as you can tell, but
double. That's 100%.
It just doesn't make sense. It just didn't make sense. They're just trying to get us to click that button. And for some people, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And once again, features roll from the top to the bottom. So with that in mind, I see why they're doing it. But for somebody like me, I can't justify it.
So
not at all.
One of the issues I have is the issue doesn't inherently change discoverability. It doesn't encourage people to continue looking for new channels because first of all, no one is running mid-rolls to get rid of pre-rolls. And it's just not like a site-wide thing. It's just like people aren't like, oh, I'm gonna click this person and hope that they don't have pre-rolls. They're just done. Like people just don't want to look for other streams on Twitch because it's just annoying.
Can I call out the elephant in the room? Who isn't using AdBlock? Tons of people are. I mean, I have it exempted, but I can't expect my viewers to do that. Especially when I'm making nothing off their ads. I'm not going to discourage them from not using AdBlock. Why should I discourage them? They're missing my stream. I'm not actively encouraging it, but I'm just saying, why should I discourage them?
Yeah, I mean, my viewers yell at me like, you should run ads if you do take a break, because I'll 10-minute break maybe every like 4 to 5 hours, and they're like, okay, just run it. But I'm like, I can't even sub to myself off of this stuff. It's like people call it, people literally call that like their coffee money. It's like, because that's what you get, and it feels like. And I mean, I've been in the web industry a very long time, and it just feels like it's just trying to make ads more palatable because the only people who care about them are the investors. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
None of us care. None of us care. If ads went away, we would all be happier for it. We would all be less stressed. We wouldn't care anymore. But you have the CEO of Twitch saying he's going to make $1 billion in ads. And then it's like, oh, here we go. Now half of the product development is going to be based on getting rid of people's faces because the investors.
Yeah.
But I think they can make it more palatable.
And I agree. I want to talk about that. I do want to just expand off what Avalon just said, just for full context. There was an article released January 8th from Forbes saying Amazon's Twitch not meeting ad revenue expectations. Basically, it goes on to say that Twitch had expectations of 500 to 600 million in 2019, and they, I think, in mid-year projection for 2019 was 300 million. So they fell pretty far short. They apparently there was only 230 million ad revenue for 2018, and a mid-year annual projection of 300 million for 2019. And let's see, the company was hoping to hit 1 billion in 2020. So
That's
Twitch,
okay.
So this is like the investor side of things, where Twitch is like there's expectations to hit these numbers, and that's why you're seeing these random bonuses for running ads, like run mid rolls, and you'll get like a surge pricing or something. Like
yeah. I got 19 bucks.
Well, I mean, what do you think happens if we don't meet this number? Because we're not gonna. So what do you think is gonna happen?
Yeah.
We're not gonna meet it.
There's gonna be a slap. There's gonna be a slap on the hand, either that or things, or the features will just get more annoying. Really depends on how Twitch fights back on this.
Yes.
And like, so I used to
And
work
what
for
promises they
GitHub,
can make.
and they didn't need ads on their site because they were a freemium model, so you could use it. And we were talking about freemium models, right? You could use it or you could pay for it, right? And it's just like, I would give like a little bit more of my cut to not see ads anymore.
Yeah.
If
I'd
Twitch
rather
was
do the
making
exact
money
same
off
thing.
subscriptions enough that they didn't have to run ads, I'd be happier for it, because nobody would have to worry about it.
I think it's not even necessarily the revenue. I think part of it is also development of relationships with some of those companies and building some of that out in unique and weird ways. Is some of the things that I've kind of heard.
but that's
Not
sort
just
of
straight
like
dollars.
But it comes down to straight dollars in the end, because that's the number of measurement, right? It's like, how much are you charging these guys to be able to?
But Amazon has never been about straight dollars, right? Like the first 10 years they ran at a loss for very good reason, right? And all of the perpetual like undercutting in certain situations, I can't remember what that's called. They take interesting strategies.
It's a different company though. It's not like, just because like, it's not the same like vertical, right? So it's like, this is a video medium, and they are, I don't know, I just feel like we were talking about in the pre-show, which you can see on Patreon.
Oh, it's not an OnlyFans? I thought it was on OnlyFans. Oh, not yet.
Not yet.
Spoilers.
We were talking about like, the fluffy middle when it comes to bureaucracy. You have the people that have worked in the industry forever, and that's all they know. All they know is how to run how you run these you run ads. You want to make money off of video, you run ads. Like, I don't know if we'll ever evolve past this, because apparently the same people are just jumping between companies, being, pushing these models. But it just, I just feel like it's just, we're only going to suffer more because of it. And it's actually nice that we now have like ad, what is that whole thing? Picture by picture. Like, that's nice. That's an evolution.
Yeah, I like that.
It doesn't cover the content, and the fact that they could get away with that was nice.
There's strong evidence to support that the industry still feels that way too, because look what happened when they signed Ninja and they signed Shroud on Mixer. They rolled out site-wide ads the same week. Boom, across the board. So the industry still thinks that way. So
yep, it does. And that's really like the kind of the ground level for all of this, is that people still hang on to the fact that old media advertising should be in new media. And
well, yeah, I mean,
there's no better way though.
But
there isn't. No,
we ran with, and this, I don't want to get too far down this rabbit hole because I will go. We ran with a principle of free internet, and still are fixated on the idea of free internet. Everything on the internet should be free and accessible to all people. There's very good reason to want to adhere to that principle, but it comes at a cost elsewhere. Where is that? We see ubiquitously with ads on everything that I watch and imbibe, every site that I go to, almost without exception, because we have that core principle that's not going anywhere. When will we see a shift away from that? Will we ever? I don't know. And I think you just see it kind of baked into our perception of the internet and its nature.
I mean, .com means .commercial. I mean, that's where it died. I mean, really, honestly, that whole concept of, free, with all the cable companies monetizing and adding data caps, and, us supposedly going to be on fiber 10 years ago, and they're dragging their heels because of infrastructure and this, that, and the other thing. And every piece of legislation bogging it down. Fiber is expensive, but everything's expensive when you get into infrastructure. It's being bogged down by special interests right now. Go look it up. Whatever area you're in, you will see fibers being bogged down by special interests.
Which is interesting, because I wanted to draw that parallel between like TV and internet, because of the old model is like watching TV was free.
Yep.
You still had to have electricity, and your bill was paid. You still had to have the TV and, have it be functional and take it in for repairs, maybe get a new one, get a more advanced one, whatever it happens to be. The same thing exists for what we need for access to the internet. But the thing itself, all the free stuff on there that's outside of the stuff that we have in our home and our ability to access it, That's where we get into that weird spot. But you did mention these moves to Mixer. We also saw something interesting with Twitch locking people in, didn't we?
Yeah, we've seen
Yeah.
a couple of interesting move changes. It was last month. There were several streamers that announced that they had reached an agreement with Twitch that they were going to remain on the platform for the next X amount of years, somewhere between I think 2 to 3 years for most people. Big streamers like Baru, Dr. Lupo, and the Tatman, I think.
I
Been a couple of them.
so.
Yeah, you're right. But
I-
a lot of these guys are under the same agency, so that makes perfect sense. I mean, you can follow the breadcrumbs in the agencies.
Lyric, okay, yeah. So, I mean, this is
Lyric is
obviously a direct consequence of what happened with Ninja moving to Mixer, like 100%. Like, Twitch needed to make a move and keep like streamers on. If I was a big streamer, I would leverage what was happening at that time. I'd be like, oh, Ninja's moving. Well, let me see if Mixer has an offer. Oh, Mixer has this offer. Hey, Twitch, can you give me a better deal than this? Like, otherwise I'm leaving. Like, I think a lot of these streamers used
I think what
what
it comes
happened
down
to get themselves like a deal where I think some of them would probably have stayed anyways, but
But if somebody takes, let's say you're making 10 times what you're making right now, theoretically, what you're making right now for this, times it by 10 for a year, hand that paper over to another company, and that company says, we'll pay you double this, and you can continue to get sub revenue and whatever else we can offer on our website. Are you not going to take that? I would take that.
I'm
No
not
question.
saying that's a bad thing at all.
No question.
I mean,
No,
it's a smart
I'm
thing
not
to do.
implying that. I'm just saying that, like, they're finding that work-life balance. Like Ninja, everybody's like, oh, look at his viewer numbers. And look how low he is. Ninja's signing TV deals, toy deals, everything else. He's going and putting his face on bigger things than Twitch will. I don't want to say Twitch will ever be, but you can only reach so
agree.
high on Twitch. Like the people that we know who are super duper famous, you go say their name on the street and people are like, who's this?
That and surface numbers just aren't as I think we just could perpetually on all sides of this focus on the wrong metrics, but just on the wrong things.
Right. And that's the thing is this is the justification of that. This is the realignment of that. They're getting their money. They're able to continue to market their brand. They're continuing to have that anonymity or that not anonymity, that I don't know. I'm trying to use a big word and I forget it. But they're trying to have their brand and be able to market it. But they're also getting their work-life balance back. They're being able to make more money. They're being able to brand outside. And all they have to do is sign with a company where when you click on OBS, all you have to do is change the ingest server. That's it. It's literally a checkbox on our server to go from YouTube to Twitch to to Mixer. And sure, we were talking about this earlier as well. Patreon. You look at the culture differences on Mixer and YouTube and Twitch. And the biggest thing that I noticed, that at least from somebody who tried it out on YouTube, was the biggest culture shift is chat. Chat is dramatically different when you go from Twitch to Mixer to YouTube. But otherwise, as a broadcaster, it's really not all that different. So if your broadcast is like a Ninja where chat is just there, and you're like Shroud where chat is just there, you can't do much else with it, you're just changing where you go, but you're getting a bigger check for it. So it's a no-brainer.
Additional services like on Mixer, like what Sparks do. Like I don't know what some of
Sparks are just what now Twitch is rolling out currency, but then Sparks have some donation aspect to it, and they've evolved.
It's all like surface minor modifications. The core qualities are still the exact same.
So I think in terms of, because like we've definitely talked about this a lot. So I'm trying to think of what's changed, in the last month or so. And one of the things that I've seen is a couple streamers leave Twitch for YouTube, a couple big streamers. And I'm also seeing a flood of streamers coming back to Twitch, leaving Mixer actually, and coming back to Twitch.
Yeah.
See that too.
Not necessarily. Yeah.
The second wave of
the second wave, and it took Ninja to be like, uh-oh. It's like, now you took something big from us. So then everybody started solidifying, rubber stamping their deals.
Yep.
But yeah, and apparently like they're grabbing YouTube personalities too. Twitch. I think Twitch grabbed a couple of YouTube personalities recently.
Yeah.
Do you think they can afford to keep doing that though? Now, I'm not saying that Twitch. I mean, Twitch has Amazon money, as everybody says. But do you think it's feasible? In other words, a lot of these folks created their content here, and as you know, every other month there's somebody else who's becoming big because of something viral they do, and you know the chances are that one of us before the end of the year is up might have that opportunity. Good luck. I'm trying to spread the goodwill and the hope here, but you know, it's possible that it could happen. One of us could get a deal, but if you know, Mixer's going to offer that money and Twitch is going to say, we'll create somebody new. I mean, we've all seen a personality explode on Twitch during our tenure here. All of us have been here long enough to see people go from insignificance to insanity. Like, for example, I'll give an example on IRL, Shook One. You guys know who Shook One is? He does the IRL streams in Australia. He started out just rapping on Twitch. And then I watch him because he's out in Australia fishing and cast netting and doing everything. And he's revolutionizing real life content because he's out in the outback streaming live with his 15 or 20 SIM cards in his backpack and just kicking ass. 1080p or 4K crystal clear oceans as far as you can see in the middle of nowhere in the Australian outback. And this guy has an amazing broadcast. Just an awesome place to be. But like, you know, would Twitch pay him X amount of dollars to stay here? I mean, who knows? But, you know, Mixer could offer him a certain amount of money, see his potential there, see it as an IRL thing, build a whole IRL community based around this, get, you know, sponsors involved in this. I mean, there's so much potential out there. And I think we're right on the verge of there being a serious competitor to Twitch once they get that sponsorships and that money in line. And I honestly think that Twitch really thinks that they're going to have more talent come through. And I think they're right about that. So I guess my question is more or less, do you think Twitch is willing to pay for talent or just let the competitors take the talent? Because entertainment, you go up, you stay popular for a while, then you go down. Sometimes you come back up. Most of the time you don't. Or do you think that they have enough faith in their middle casters that they're going to become big? Because the audience is here. The audience is not moving anywhere yet, but it might. So
well, I do want to add that in terms of competition, YouTube, in my opinion, is the actual competitor in the picture.
I think so.
I think Mixer right now has a lot of issues, a lot of growth issues, and
UI.
Yeah. I just think like there's still just such a small piece of the pie right now where YouTube actually has the creator base. I mean, YouTube itself has way more views and everything, is way more successful than Twitch right now. So if they just push their streaming more and encourage their top creators to stream, like they could easily be where Twitch is at. Like I mean, even like when you see Fortnite competitions that are streamed on Twitch and YouTube is right there. Like YouTube is the one to watch out for, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, but in terms of, you were asking, I guess, would Twitch be willing to snatch people up? I mean, they are, I guess, like they'll probably continue to. I think it just depends on if those streamers go to them and leverage what's happening, and you know, it's like a free agency thing. Like I don't think Twitch is gonna send an email out to their top partners and be like, hey, we're just gonna start paying you more money. I think like it has to be something where the creator is like, you know, I mean, you know, you want to give me some money?
I mean, Morgan's a good point.
I want to replace streamer with agency. That was the one.
Yes.
I think the agencies are going to set the price. And I mean, when you said it as like, they all have that similar, the breadcrumbs for the agencies. It's the agencies that are going to be setting up these deals. It's the agencies that are going to do the work because the streamers don't want to do that work. They're just a talent. It's like,
a lot of streamers don't have the know-how either.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of them, they're making enough money where a percentage of their income not to have to deal with social media or negotiating contracts, so they can focus on, you know, content creation and maybe take a little bit of that time and get some sleep. You know, if you told me I could take 10% of my income and sleep, I'd be like, where do I sign up? Let's do it.
Sure.
You know, that's so. Yeah, if I ever,
I pay 10% of my income for medication and therapy. So
oh my God,
I might as well just toss it over to an agency and you know, they just get a good night.
We'll get there, Hunter. I promise. Someday. I'll just keep learning Russian.
In terms of what we're gonna see in 2020 for streamer platform switches, exclusivity, etc. I mean, I think this is just going to start to become the norm. The big streamers are going to be traded around. We won't see the results of this for a while, I don't think. I mean, until we start seeing contracts get renewed or expired, right? Like a lot of these deals are probably 1 to 3 years, I would guess. So it's hard to kind of see like, you know, where these streamers are going to go in terms of their career and how these changes affect them.
So here's a question. It's a pretty direct one too, so I'll try it. And this might go for the people in chat too, even if they're small streamers. If somebody walked up to you today and said, I want 5 years exclusivity on my platform, I'm willing to pay you $250,000 right now, would you take it? No? You can get $250 right now, but you have 5 years exclusivity. It's a lot of money up front, but the industry can change very heavily in 5 years.
Yeah, like
I'm about to hit my 5-year like anniversary this next weekend, and it's like that's been.
I'm about to hit my 7-year.
Yeah, it's just, that's
so I feel you.
It's so different. People already talk about the good old days on Twitch when it was smaller and everything. That was 5 years ago.
$50K per year once you boil it down.
Yeah, 50K. Yeah,
but that's still, you know, it's up front. You get the $250, and they're not taking anything out of your sub revenue. They're not doing any sort of stuff like that. They're just handing you a check for $250,000, and the only thing they get as a result is exclusivity. That's it.
If you look at the last 5 years on Twitch and the streaming space, like it has changed so much. It's going to continue to change. I mean, even in the last year, it's just we haven't even talked about the problem with discoverability on Twitch yet. Because like there's just so much going on. There's just so many things that are changing so rapidly. I just like it's unpredictable. I don't think anyone should sign a deal like that unless they plan on like retiring with that money, which that is not enough.
I think the only other possible addition that you make to that is if you have if like treating it like a loan for your business.
There you go. That's what I was going for.
Exactly, but treating it like a loan for your business and then take that as a strong investment into a number of other directions or additions you might want to make to your content. The exclusivity is a big anchor that you cannot escape. You are stuck. But if the terms of that contract allow you to do some other interesting things and you get a little creative with it, and then
let's talk streaming exclusivity then. Streaming exclusivity, and there's a certain amount per week, not abnormal of your current streaming schedule, maybe a little bit less, maybe a 3-day a week, 4-day a week, 8-hour stream or something like that. And then it's streaming exclusivity. They're not going to take away from the fact that you might have YouTube videos on YouTube or TikTok videos on TikTok, because that helps grow your brand. As we know, growing in-house on any platform is a bad idea now.
And
this is exactly what I was going to say.
5 years, and you expand out into other platforms. That's good for that brand that locked you in that platform.
Exactly.
Is that what Ninja did? Essentially? Yes. So wasn't he not streaming on one of the biggest days, like during like the Star Wars thing recently? He just wasn't streaming.
Yep.
Because he's on Ellen.
Like, doing an advertisement with Mark Hamill.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, whoa. That's what streaming is now. Somebody who played Halo alongside of us was sitting with Mark Hamill the day before Star Wars came out. Like, what? Imagine explaining that to yourself in 2013. Imagine explaining that to yourself. You'd be like, hell no, there's no way.
I'd be like, you're high. That doesn't make any sense.
So I think, Dizzy, you made a point that I was going to say in terms of exclusivity. And this kind of rolls into the growth and discoverability topic that I wanted to get into with Twitch, because you make a great point. Right now, discoverability on Twitch is, like, in my experience, almost non-existent anymore. It's so hard to get new viewers through just Twitch itself. More people find me through YouTube now and Twitter. And I think TikTok's becoming a big one. And who knows what's going to happen. Like, I think that Twitch having content exclusivity is a big problem for streamers, because it really hurts our ability to get discovered on other platforms and bring people to Twitch. Like, in my opinion, it's a big hindrance for streamers and their contracts.
I
really
get more follows when I'm not live than when I'm live now, because of external stuff, because of videos, because of TikTok. I literally, just because part of it has to do with my target audience being awake, but I get more follows when I'm offline than when I'm online now. And that is a testament to what Twitch was and what Twitch has become. Now, sure, you could still grow on Twitch, but you need eyes being pointed at you. You need assistance from other people. Knowing big casters helps a tremendous amount. Those hosts, those boosts, everything else. But the whole getting discovered in a category sort of stuff, IRL, you have a much higher chance because almost everybody gravitates to IRL when they're searching. That we did a little bit of a test, just kind of a blind test where I asked people, where do you go when you're looking for something? And almost everybody clicks just chatting before anything else because they know it's the biggest variety of content. Even if you're gaming, it almost makes sense to game and just chatting because they don't do anything about it. But with that being said, the discoverability is predicated around, at least I found, events. Don't Starve has their drop weekends. I do really well in Don't Starve. I know a lot of the Don't Starve folks. I grew up in there. I'm wearing Chester on my head. I go to Don't Starve. Terraria is going to have a big release. I'll go in there regardless of how many people are watching it. You know, you go into areas that are hot. You position yourself. It's all, you know, standard streamer stuff. You guys know this stuff. I'm preaching to the choir. But, you know, just if you want to go play whatever game you want to play, which you should do, because, you know, your audience is feeding into how you're enjoying something. And if you're not enjoying something, they're going to see that. We're all cam streamers. We know that. But that whole, I'm going to play a game and maybe I'll get discovered here by my personality, but nobody's looking at it. Like, how far are people going to scroll?
They don't anymore. They don't. And I think that ties into the pre-roll thing because people are so turned off to scroll. Like, it's not, I'm not saying it's the only issue with discoverability, but it just ties right back into it.
Well, you wait for a 30-second Coke ad to go watch a streamer for 10 seconds.
People are not looking through streamers like they used to. Like in the past, like I could play like a new game, get like 100, 200 more viewers than I normally get, easy, move on to the next one, move on to the next game, etc. Now it's just like the categories dry out a lot quicker. Just chatting is the only category that consistently grows.
Too, though. They're buying that exclusivity, that early launch. Remember the early launch days? Like, I got City Skylines early, and I was like, yeah, I get 1,000 people here, sweet. You know, Hunter got into a couple games early, getting the pre-reserves and whatnot. If you listen, like, the origin stories of, like, Elohim, he'll tell you how he got the exclusive package to MMO, and he was there. That whole, I'm going to play a game first and be there, discoverability or instant success is gone. It's all bought and paid for now.
Fluffy.
It's all bought and paid for now. So, like, how do you get discovered on Twitch organically now? I do Twitch some aspect every day of my life for 7 years, and I could not tell you.
I mean, I think that's why you're seeing streamer Twitter become worse and worse because you get engagement on Twitter. And that's how people find you. People are realizing that now. Like, being loud on Twitter is definitely one of the biggest ways to grow your brand.
Live stream fails is a tremendously effective way to get your stream to become popular instantly. It's almost one of the most effective ways.
I'm too old for this shit.
I have evidence to prove that. Like, huge evidence to prove that. Like, it's crazy. Like, the amount of follows that you can get. Like, I have a video editor who decided learn Russian, if you didn't get that impression a little while ago. And I decided as part of my learning, I like to learn karaoke because karaoke is fast. You have to learn new words. You pronounce them wrong. People laugh. Ha, 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 ha. So I had somebody who edited a karaoke of me doing a song called Little Lieutenant in Russian. And I try to sing at a higher pitch. You saw me do Wrecking Ball, Hunter, you know.
I did.
I try to sing at a higher pitch to make it a little bit more funny. And the editor just put it on TikTok as just kind of a joke. In 5 days, it got 1.3 million views. And we were like, what is going on? So I'd have people come in, I saw you on TikTok. Da, 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 da. And I was getting 100 follows a day. I wasn't even live. And I was like, whoa, there is nothing I could stream on Twitch right now outside of going live on IRL and getting a clip on maybe live stream fails that would get me more follows than that. Now, follows isn't everything, but follows does have some math in your reach. You know, if 100 of those follows, one person comes in, and while you're live and that person, you know, has a little bit of expendable income, they could start a hype train for you. That gets other people to buy into you. It's all those little insignificant moments. That's a big thing. You know, you take that insignificant moment, like a raid that happened in my channel. I talked about this last time too. I had a raid happen in my channel, and I have 100,000 more follows on Twitch as a result of that one raid, and I can pinpoint it to that moment.
Well, no, I can point to you for that exact same thing for my
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's like there's these moments that you don't realize what they're going to do to your channel, and then boom!
But am I the only one that thinks raids and hosting is not really effective at all anymore?
It depends on how you handle them. If you're prepared to handle them and turn those people into your viewers as well, then yes. I'm learning Russian as a result of a raid. I hung out in in a Russian part of New York with a bunch of people who spent 3.5 years getting a visa as a result of a raid. So I think that if I raid some
But
small
how long
streamer on
ago
Twitch
was
right
that
now,
raid?
it was 2015.
Yeah.
So, but now as a result, you know, I get regular raids from people in Russia who just want to meet me as a result of that. But if I did not handle the raid that certain way, he would have never gone, wow, what the heck is going on with this guy? And made a YouTube video that got 1 million views, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of it, hosting and raiding, has to do with you now have the opportunity to have the limelight on you, or the spotlight rather. What are you going to do with it? And most people just go, like, if you watch smaller streamers, especially younger kids, the stream becomes, let's count the view counter. Oh my God, we have 10 now. Oh my God, there's 15 now. Oh my God, there's 20. Our society is addicted to attention. And if they get that attention, that becomes the center focus. And then people don't know what they're going to do when they have that attention on them. If you know what you're going to do, and it's something unique, and it might not work to get you regular viewers, but while you're sitting at the bottom of the Terraria category, if you finally get somebody to go, what the hell is on that guy's head? I'm going to go raid him. And then they come in there and you blow up a building behind you and you start screaming and everything goes off. That's your chance to get that discoverability off Twitch. But to tie it back into discoverability on Twitch, the odds of you getting those now are so much more impossible. They're impossible. Like, what are the chances that somebody random is going to come in, even with my stupid hat on? What are the chances of that?
Mm-hmm.
They're so much rarer than they were years ago, and that's a result of stuff growing and everything. But like discoverability, the biggest thing I think about discoverability that happened on Twitch, and just to tie it into another subject of it, is if you go on to all channels, or any category for that matter, you can do from low to high, high to low, which usually low to high, especially in just chatting, is like 24-hour music channels or memes or, you know, YouTube videos playing nonstop. But recently started is a really interesting little filter. It is a really interesting filter to refresh regularly. If you go on all channels and you click on recently started, you can see all sorts of different channels go start. But with that being said, once again, it's like bird mating. They have bright plumage. You need to get that mate. You need to get that person into your sights. You need to keep that viewer. What they mate based on the fact.
Okay, but hold on. Extending out that exact same idea.
I sacrificed a lot.
Within those subspecies, they also necessitate that. Like you don't pay attention because it's been built out that way, and then it gets.
But human beings act that way too. Human beings go after what's attractive to them too.
And it ends up incidentally being a lowest common denominator situation. Do I want my content to be reduced to the thing that I need to do in order to match expectations that are outside of what?
But I think you can find a medium to that.
I gave that up 2 years ago. I can't.
But I think you can find a medium to that, though. Like, in other words, this hat on my head doesn't sacrifice who I am as a human being, and I don't mind it. You know, it's become a part of me, and people recognize me as a part of it. The company who makes it's not even a hat; it's a toy. It's the stupid toy. They made me one specifically for my stream.
So
because
wait,
I wore it, though.
okay.
But it's I can't. I wish I could empathize with this because I've heard this on so many places. I cannot, because I am not a natural entertainer. I'm not.
Yeah.
You know,
but there's an audience there for you.
No, there is, right? But
Yeah,
I'm not
thinking
gonna,
about this
you know,
yesterday.
you attract people via a hat. I need 15 minutes with them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Agreed.
Everybody in my community, I have invested in, and I mean, I've gotten like what 200 follows over the last year and a half.
I think in 3 days.
Like I'm not. That's not a bad thing. I have one of the most loyal followings because I invest.
Hell yeah,
in
man.
them. But I can't get that sort of thing off the, you know. So discoverability, I gave up. I gave up because I'm like, I tell my stream, I'm like, I want this to stay the way it is. 60 people a stream, that's great. I want, because it's good for my mental health, because I lost my mind trying to be the lowest common denominator. Hunter, like, you know, I empathize with you so much because of what you've been going through. So like what I've been doing, my 2020 has been creating things that people can be loyal to and attach themselves to and try to make revenue off of that.
Sure.
Like, because like I can't do it off myself. It's starting to. We're you know, it's like, again, it's like, talk to me in a year. I'm open it, you know, I've opened Patreon that has, we're doing an enamel pin club. I'm a designer at heart. I'm gonna try and make really cool things for people to collect.
Right.
So
and I want to do this. I want to retire streaming. I want something else to be making the money for me, and I just want to be able to stream content
That's the
create for the rest of
dream,
my life.
honestly.
I'm with you. I think every streamer.
But I
thinks
know,
that.
I'm never going to be a Baru. I'm never going to be.
Yeah.
Nor do I necessarily
And I don't
want that.
to be. Right.
Right.
Exactly.
That
So
would,
Right.
that
how
would
can
destroy a lot of the joy that I get.
how can I keep my lovely, empathetic, wonderful community and give myself a reason to do it?
Which is why I always think it's a matter of crafting your own vision and not
Mhm.
necessarily.
And you stick
copying that.
stick with it. Like I don't
Stick with it, yeah.
like
Sure,
something's been
yeah.
happening. People have been coming into my stream. People have tried trolling me for Destiny stuff, and they've stayed because
Yeah.
we are a community that accepts, like much like yours, Dizzy,
I think
that
that's
accepts
the
you
real
no matter what
testament.
you're doing.
If you can convert trolls, I think you're doing something right, regardless of what size you are. That's my opinion on that.
Yeah, and I think that is it's a point of view that isn't usually said, and that's why I was like
Right.
kind of shaking here because we've been on Jack LaFear's show. We've talked about this so many
Yeah.
times.
Right.
But it's like there are people out there who can't empathize with.
Right.
And I feel like there is a way to do it. We're in small tribes now. Twitch is not one tribe. We are
Yes.
thousands of smaller tribes.
Yes.
Reach out to those tribes.
Yep.
Like I
Thank
have
you.
some of the best community people, like best stream teams. Like all I do is we just rotate around each other. But as people come into all four of our streams, they start going around and
Yep.
they start like becoming part
Mhm.
of our tribe.
100% agree with that.
Been happier to be part of like my team Nakama with like
Yeah.
Spoonie and Inexpensive Gamer and Slackaholics. Like that's the best thing I
Play
could
it.
have possibly done.
Yeah.
And if I can go to sleep at night feeling good about my growth, and that what I'm doing is going to, if I happen to lose a few dollars because of that or whatever, then it's fine.
So
It's fine at this point.
do you
That's
guys?
where you have to find the balance.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. That's
Exactly.
what it is the balance.
So I do want to touch on one more thing before we have to end the show. Do you guys feel like
No.
Twitch needs to do anything to make discoverability better, to encourage viewers to check you out?
I don't know if they can.
I don't think I think they've lost control of it. And I think that they have fallen into the same rut that every other social network and every other entertainment venue has fallen into. Like you ride on the backs of your whales, of the people who are driving content, which is why they're trying to secure all these deals, because they know that's a set number of people they can bring in.
Right.
Like for everybody else, we just have to carve our own part out of this big pie and be happy with it and find other things. Like I don't have 100 concurrent viewers, but I'm still trying to do other things. You don't have to be ninja in order to start doing other things with your brand. And that's what
You're
I figured
actually
out over the last
Better
years.
at that point to do that. Like
Yeah.
to branch out as early as
Branch
possible.
out, try it, fail quick.
Exactly.
again.
because you
Fail
can risk and
forward.
Fail
Fail forward.
without
Fail forward.
defeat.
Exactly. Like, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
But so
if I
we're
risk
being
something
told,
and fail, it's-
yeah.
just move on with my life. If Ninja risks something and fails, everybody
Yeah,
knows,
everybody
everybody
knows.
talks about it.
Because they want a piece of that.
Yeah.
I think the big lesson of 2020 is going to be diversification, because
100%.
Twitch,
Yeah.
nothing Twitch can release at this point can change the game for any of us.
I got
it's
one
gonna be
thing.
little QL stuff. Okay.
Oh,
I've got one thing.
really?
The 24-hour content exclusivity. To go into what you're saying about Jesus, my brain. Sorry, I was at Tech South this weekend. Diversification. I think that 24-hour content hindrance is a problem if you want to put content on YouTube and on Twitter and stuff like that. I mean, I think a lot of people do it anyways. But I would like to see that like out of contracts and Twitch encouraging people to put their content elsewhere, because you have to grow.
Right.
So
Well, if they want to pull people off of those platforms, sometimes it means feeding those platforms content.
yeah, I mean,
And
I
if
said this.
is our central spot, and this is where we can make the most money. Of course,
Mhm.
we are going to want to drive them from those platforms to here.
Yeah,
It's a good.
It's
a good
so
win.
they're so nearsighted when it comes to stuff.
Yes,
And I
that's a
think
Do you
good
think it's like an
what
invention
every-
clause though? Like when you sign with a big company, like as a programmer or as an inventor or something, you have to sign
you
an
have
invention
to-
clause.
yeah.
Anything you invent while you're with that company, whether it's inside of outside of work, they own a part of it. So if you create something famous, they technically own it. It's something that if you've ever worked in corporate America, you're familiar with. Do you think that Twitch's affiliate clause, while, as Loco said, they kind of overlook it. It's kind of like speeding. They, unless you're doing it recklessly, they don't really care. Do you think that
to keep up with it?
If somebody came, I can tell you, let me put it into a story sense. I know somebody.
Hold on, before there's a story, it's 3:26 and we actually
can't. It's very quick, I promise. I know you probably don't believe me. I had a friend who was partnered on Twitch. He went to Mixer, did really well, was signing deals. He got a cease and desist letter from Twitch, had to come back. So they do it. When you start to make moves, they notice it. So
yeah.
If y'all want to talk about some legal stuff, we have a place for that. Loco.
Yes, we do. Your brand, your business. Right after this, in the next show. So you guys should stay tuned because they are going to be talking about. They're talking about the new California. I was hoping that they would message me the description, but they didn't. Why streamers need an LLC? Because there's a new California law that has basically changed the language about contractors.
Clarification about how this works and what
There's an actual lawyer on the next show, okay? There is an actual lawyer on the next show. So this is why we don't do that show. They do that show. So
this is why we ramble about the things we found on Twitch. Thank you so very much, DizzyDizaster, Avalonstar, for joining us today.
For sure.
Of course, to everybody who paid attention throughout all of that, because I think it's critical and vital stuff. It's a lot of stuff that maybe even if I didn't understand it all, it's something to chew on. It's something I'll discover a little down the road as more things start popping out, as we get more experience with this. And we'll be returning to the subject too. On occasion, we've had both of y'all on here before, and we'll have both of y'all on here again without a doubt. Tell us a little bit about yourselves as quickly as you can and where we can find you, what you're up to right here, right now, or in the next week.
You can go first. Go.
Okay, DizzyDizaster on Twitch, Diz.tv on Twitter, DizTV on Instagram. I'm trying my best to get my name, but people are stealing it. You can speak whatever language you want in my channel as long as you're speaking it nicely. I'm all about community inclusivity. I want to learn more about you and what languages you're learning. If you're not learning another language, I'll take my time here to say, do it.
Do it.
Twitch.tv/Avalonstar, Avalonstar on Twitter, Avalonstar pretty much everywhere. MMO streamer, Destiny, FF14, really into Monster Hunter right now. We have one of the most chill laid back communities out there, and a lot in common with Dizzy's community. So if you like them, you'll like us, or if you like me, you'll probably like him too.
I agree.
So you share the love.
Because I like him.
I like him. Oh, him. He's over there.
Oh yeah. You see, I'm above him.
He's like, you're yeah. I'm.
So now he's right there.
Yeah.
Right.
I am the Hunter Wild. I will not be live tomorrow or the day after because I'm getting my Wilderness First Aid certification. It's 8 to 5 every day. It's gonna be tough and fun, but I play a lot of stuff, and it's mostly conversational community. You can find me at twitch.tv/HunterWild, Hunter Wild TV on Twitter, and right here every Monday doing this show right next to my incredible and brilliant co-owner and co-host, Loco.
I thought you were gonna say your cat.
Eris.
You guys can find me at twitch.tv/Loco. I am currently playing Bloodborne for the first time. I was away this weekend for PAX South, so I'm very much recovering today. I'm not all here, but I am going to be playing Bloodborne this week. It is my birthday next Monday.
Happy birthday!
Actually, my birthday on Monday, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, so you can find me there and here doing the stream scene with Hunter. I hope you guys tune in next week, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Stay tuned because we have your brand, your business with a lawyer and a tax accountant coming on right now to talk about legal stuff. Really important about why you should get an LLC legally, why it is super, super, super important because of a recent law change. So if you're in the US, you should really pay attention to this next episode. It's very, very vital information. So stay tuned because that starts right after this. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.